Alright, welcome to Falcon Blues TV, and we have got an absolutely amazing special guest, Mr. Tony Cottee. Tony,
evening boys, how you doing? Great to see you.
Coming on, Tony.
You're welcome.
So what we're just going to do is a little bit of a rundown of the Palace game tomorrow, a little bit about you and how Everton are doing and everything. So
what's your favourite colour?
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Blue, believe it or not. That's easy to answer.
Favourite crisps, you know how it goes. Yeah. So what are you up to now then, Tony, at the moment?
Working for Sky. I've been with Sky for 18 years now, believe it or not. Yeah, left Everton, saying to the taxi driver 26 years ago, so it's gone like that. Wow. So, but been retired since 2001. 18 years at Sky. I do a little bit of work for West Ham, a little bit of work for Leicester, two of my old clubs obviously, and I'd love to say I do work for Everton, but I live 5 hours away, so it makes it a little bit difficult to get to the games at the weekend. So
we're here for an evening with Tony Cottee at the Winslow, and we'd like to thank Jim for inviting us and obviously giving us the opportunity to talk to Tony. Paul, over to you, mate.
So basically, Tony, we'd like to ask you about the current Everton team and how do you think that the season's went so far?
It's not been brilliant, has it? Let's be honest. It's hard for me to be too precise on things. You need to pick that up.
I know, your question. Just about that there.
Good job, it's not live TV.
Playing goal as well, isn't
I mean, as I said, I live so far away, so I'm looking in from a distance and everything. I mean, obviously things weren't right under Marco Silva. I think everyone could see that. There was no surprise at all when we had to change the manager. I think it's a good appointment. He's just got to get his players in, he's got to get his formation and his tactics and his ideas across, which it's not easy. There's been a lot of Everton managers coming, haven't there, over the last sort of 5-6 seasons, and it is a difficult job. And the Evertonians are brilliant fans, but they want success. And that immediately puts pressure on whoever's coming in as a manager. In terms of the team, I think there's some good players scattered around. They probably need a little bit more. And they need someone to score the goals for them. Now hopefully that man is there. Hopefully, he's had a good run, and I'm actually a big fan. I think he's a good player. He just was missing the goals, and the goals are now starting to come. So I'm hoping that he can be the long-term solution to the problem which has been there since Lukaku.
He's at the right age as well, isn't he?
Correct. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a young lad, English lad. And we all wish him well. We all want him to do well. There's nothing better than having a young kid come into the team, and the fans are always willing them on. Whatever club it may be you support, you want the youngsters to do well. And now he's scoring goals. Hopefully, it'll just get better and better.
So, do you want to see that? That's my question about Calvert-Lewin.
All right. And you haven't shown me the question. I just want to get that clear. You haven't shown me the question.
Well, it's all right. We had a question about obviously Carlo Ancelotti, the new Everton manager. Yeah. Well, it feels weird saying new now because he's been there a while, but a lot of people were surprised that Everton got a calibre of manager like that. Were you surprised to see that happen?
I was actually. Yeah, I think he's a fantastic manager. He's done a lot, hasn't he? I'd done a tour of the ground earlier at Goodison and done a little question and answer thing like this, and I made the point, and I'll make it to you boys again, is that when he sort of arrived at Chelsea, he had world-class players and he had a squad that had won trophies, and as we all know, it's now 25 years since Everton have won a trophy, and you can't really say there's too many world-class players in the team. So the point I'm making is it's a tough job, not just for Ancelotti but for anyone to come in, because you've got to get your own ideas across, and the thing is you don't have time in football anymore. We know that if Everton go 6, 7, 8 games without winning, which could happen, then he'll be under pressure.
I'm glad you said that, and I don't think that's it's just a problem with football fans in general. There's no patience anymore, is there? If you want instant success, you look at teams like Watford who've just chopped and changed managers completely, and it doesn't help, does it? No, it doesn't, but I think the frustration is, if you look at what a massive club Everton is, and as I said, 1995, long time ago, but you've had teams like Wigan have won the FA Cup, Swansea have won the League Cup, and Birmingham. These teams win things. Everton fans, hold a sec, we're much bigger. We're a much bigger club than that, and that puts even more pressure on because you're willing them to, so much want them to win. And listen, I watched the FA Cup match, and I was gutted because I thought it was a young Liverpool team. We play really well first half, and you go out in the second half and put in that sort of performance and get knocked out of the FA Cup, and another year goes by, more pressure, so it's just an ongoing thing. But I wish Carlo all the best. I think he's a good appointment, he's a high profile appointment, linked with Zlatan and people like that, being linked with, which is great. If they come, they do. If they don't, they don't. But
you know, I reckon he could bring those sort of players in if the money's there, and I think the money is there. But you've got to knead it all together and put all the pieces together. And above all else, Everton need a good team. It's all right having good individuals, but I mean, look at Sheffield United. You know, I've said to you boys, name one player who plays with Sheffield United, you're going to struggle with it.
Jagielka.
I mean, that's cheating. That's cheating. We would have all got that one.
John Lundstrom, because he used to play for Everton.
But you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Listen, they've got no superstars, but they've got a fantastic team, and that's what Everton need to get. They need to get a good team together.
It says a lot for team spirit, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Look what
it does.
You know, I made them for them.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, the team spirit takes you a long way. But in terms of what we want for Everton, you know, I think we're now at the stage where they've got to consistently, and I mean consistently, not every now and again, but consistently push to get into that top 6 every season, pushing for Europe, and they need a cup run, and that was why it was so disappointing when they lost to Liverpool.
Yeah, I think that as a former Leicester player yourself as well, the game, the League Cup game as well, was bittersweet, I suppose, for you. You know,
Scout penalties and of course, I mean, but listen, if you look at Leicester as an example, I'm glad you said it. You know, again, I said Sheffield United, but Leicester are a great example of a club. You know, they're not one of the so-called top 6 clubs, but they're in third position in the league. So if Leicester can do it, then you know why can't Everton do it? You know, but you've just got to bring it all together, and hopefully Carlo is the man to do that.
Well, it seems like we're doing that at the moment. You know, 1 defeat in 10, following a really good result last week against Watford. 2-0 down. I thought, right, it just seems like another Marco Silva game to me. Yeah. You know, what do you see in this Everton side now that you didn't see before Duncan, before the introduction of Carlo Ancelotti?
I saw it when Duncan came in as manager. We saw it, didn't we? There was a big response, big impact. Saw him at the hotel earlier, had a nice chat with him. He seemed on good form, and you know, sometimes you just need a bit of inspiration. And you know, he's an inspirational character. I'd like to think that the new manager is going to do the same thing. But Duncan's obviously part of the backroom staff. Yeah. And the thing is, it's a great football club. It's a grand old team to play for. There you go. There's a little life here.
Danny Kiddle,
where I'm going with that. But what I was going to say, when you put that shirt on, go out and play with pride. You know, give it 100%. You know, listen, you're not going to play well every game. You know, there was many games I didn't play well in, but you try your hardest, and if you try your hardest, the fans appreciate that, and that's what they want. And if you try your hardest, get a bit of quality in to add to what's already there, then I don't think Everton are that far away.
Glad you've said that about adding to what's there. We'd imagine we'd have like a substantial transfer kitty in the summer. What areas would you like to see Everton strengthen? It's a tough question.
Yeah, it's a tough question. What more than strengthening, what I want to see is I want to see the squad balanced out, because I've looked at it doesn't seem to have been a plan over the last 3, 4, 5 years. You know, it's like, he's a good player, we'll buy him. Yeah. And then I'm looking at it, thinking, you know, we're going back to when Wayne Rooney was there, and Sigurdsson, and then Richarlison arrives, and how many number 10s do you want? Seriously.
Exactly.
They haven't got a number 9, but we'll buy loads of number 10s. And then you look at the wingers, you know, you've got Walcott, and you go and buy Iwobi, and you think, well, I don't know. I mean,
where's the thought gone in?
Yeah, really? I mean, in the modern day football, it's 25 in the squad, as we all know. So you want 3 goalkeepers, you then want 2 right backs, 2 left backs, 4 centre halves, you know, right the way through the team. And I think it's more a case of balancing out. You know, if you've got 4 number 10s, and get rid of 2 of them and keep the 2 that are the best, and then use that money you get to then strengthen the places that you haven't got the quality. I don't know, I'm a bit sceptical about the number 9 position. We've already spoke about Dominic, who's done really well, but you know, you've got Moise Keane. I think Nias is still an Everton player, isn't he?
Unfortunately,
Cenk Tosun, is he still an Everton player?
He's on loan.
But
he's still on the wage bill.
But if you look at those 4 forwards, have I missed anyone? I don't think I missed anyone.
Sandro, he's not missed.
We'll forget about Sandro.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you look at those 5, there's only one really that you want to keep. So again, it's probably answered the question you asked. You probably need to get a number 9 in to push Dominic and also to support him. And if you want to play 2 up front, then you've got 2 good strikers to play.
There wasn't a lot of activity overall in January during the transfer window. Were you surprised Everton didn't at least try and dip in and try and pick up something to maybe fortify that central midfield that we've lacked?
Well, I think that was across the board, though, wasn't it? I mean, it was quite a dull transfer window in general, wasn't it? You know, when you think a lot of teams need players, and they didn't go out and get the players. It's difficult in January. I think I think where the manager's just arrived. I know he's managed in English football before, but he's been abroad, as we know. Now he's come back and he's got to get his head back round of what he wants, and I don't think you should rush into things. And certainly in the January window, a player that's 20 million is going to be 40 million. So wait till the end of the season, use the money wisely, and again, if slight criticism of the transfer policy, if a player's worth 40 million. Don't pay 80 million for it. You've got to pay the market value, and I think at times Everton have overpaid.
What do you think of the new rule that's gone in now, where it's going to close in 1st of August or end of August?
End of August, yeah. No. Well, I think it just brings us back in line with Europe, doesn't it? Really, and in theory, it was a good idea because the season was starting, and then you were playing 3 games, and you could still juggle players around and it was a little bit farcical, I think, but that was great if everyone else does it. But of course, our season is starting earlier and earlier because we're now building up to the World Cup in Qatar, where the season's probably going to start at the end of July or something stupid like that. So we've got to bring the fixtures forward, and as a result of that, you don't want our window closing and it causing problems with the European clubs. So I think it's probably the right decision.
Okay.
Jim's given us the whistle that I think the Blues are ready. Now, before we go quickly, I've got one quick question.
I thought you wanted my quick-fire questions or something. Is that what you're going to do?
Right, Jim wants us gone.
Don't worry about Jim.
I've got one to start with, right?
Yeah, go on.
Everton were notorious for going out drinking in the 80s.
Yes.
Who was your favourite drinking partner at Everton?
Oh, good question. I think Peter Beagries was good entertainment. There was many good drinkers, and Beagries wasn't necessarily the top drinker, but you had a lot of entertainment with him. So
were you with him with the moped incident?
I was. I'd just like to say that I wasn't on the moped. He disappeared, and apparently he was trying to find a nightclub for us to go to, but he never got back to tell us about the nightclub because he'd obviously put the motorbike through the window.
Amazing.
It was an interesting night, but I was sort of part of it.
Sounds. All right, well, we'll wrap it up, Tony. Thank you so much for joining us. Prediction for tomorrow?
We all do these prediction things. I've just done my predictions, and I put Everton 2, Crystal Palace 0. Having said that, I am one of the worst predictors ever. So please don't go out and put lots of money on that.
Actually, I predicted that earlier on today. Actually, I'm not on film.
Yeah, listen. If it goes to former, Palace they've had a very up and down season, but away from home they can be dangerous. We know that they've gone to all the big clubs and won. So if we're not on our game, they will beat us, no doubt about that. But I'm confident after coming back from the 2 goals down against Watford, I think they're putting a good performance, and hopefully they know I'm there and they'll put on a victory and the 3 points.
Great stuff. Brilliant. Okay, so that wraps it up for tonight. Tony,
cheers, boys.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Pleasure.
Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Tony Cottee loves you. Falcon Blues TV. What more do you want? Up the toffees.
Colin Chong.
Catch us in a bit.